Over 200,000 people live in this municipality in the Lisbon district. Now, why are so many people choosing to live here? I'm Josh with Expats Everywhere.
And I'm Kalie, and this is Valencia, and we're going to show you why you should consider Cascais.
All right, before we go any further, guys, I do need to explain a bit of the pronunciation. So in English, Cascais is perfectly normal. That's how you would say it. If you're trying to learn Portuguese, then you've got to get that j, that sh sound, so it's Cascais. While Cascais is known to be a popular tourist destination, it has a lot to offer if you want to live here. It's close to the perks of Lisbon, but still far enough out of the city to have its own vibe and culture.
It's true that Lisbon is busier and more business-like, but if you come out to Cascais, you'll get more of that comfortable beach feel. In fact, this area is so popular that royalty, politicians, celebrities, athletes, and more like to come here to live for at least part of the year.
This area has been a popular seaside resort since the late 1800s, and it's no secret why. The location and the weather play a huge part in its draw. Right along the Atlantic Ocean and very close to the Tagus River dumps into the ocean, Cascais has quite temperate temperatures.
The winter lows normally don't get out of the 40s, and you don't get as much rain as other parts of Portugal. It's not unusual for the highs in the winter to get up into the 60s, so we see very mild winters. The summers don't get too hot either. The hottest part of the summer might reach into the 80s, but it normally stays around the 60s and 70s. Now, we do want to note that sometimes it feels hotter than what the temperature reads. This is probably due to the humidity, which can reach a fairly high percentage. It's more of a humid climate.
So what is there to do in Cascais? Well, there's plenty of outdoor activities with the Atlantic Ocean and the Central Mountains nearby. The city has done a great job at preserving the green spaces. It makes sense with such great weather to spend all of your days outside.
Let's talk about the water first. If you love the beach, then this area is for you. There are beautiful places to lay out and soak up the rays, or if you prefer to do more active things like Josh, you have surfing, paddleboarding, kite surfing, dolphin exploring, and more. You can catch me laying out while Josh is out surfing though.
Since water is such a huge draw to this city, you can sail, you can learn how to fish, you can spend a day on a yacht, you can go up and down the coast exploring, or even checking out a lighthouse or two. Really, the sky's the limit for water activities. If you don't want to get into the water, how about golf? There are a few really good golf courses for those of you who want to golf.
There's also mountain biking, rock climbing, hiking, a market, and more. Now, we know if you live here, you're not going to be doing these things all day, every day, which is fine because there are other options, such as walking down the pedestrian-friendly historic center like where we are now. You can visit the different boutique shops, restaurants, and cafes. You'll get a posh feel here, as that's what the district is known for.
You also have a few museums to peruse, like Casa das Histórias Paula Rego and Museu Condes da Castro Guimarães, as well as some beautiful parks to relax in. And Parque Marcial Carmona has great areas for kids and adults too.
Well, now that we've shown you all the amazing things to do in Cascais, let's get real and show you now how much it costs to actually live here. Since this area is known to be a very posh part of Portugal, there's no surprise that it's expensive to live here. If you want to buy in the Quinta da Marinha area, which is beautiful and has lots of greenery, expect to pay a minimum of $500,000 for a T1 and upwards into several million the bigger the house is and the more amenities you add.
When we say several million, we mean that we have walked around looking at property listings and we are no longer surprised to see properties listed for well over 1 million euros, some even 10 million. Boy, are these beautiful though. If you're interested in the Golden Visa, then Cascais might be the spot for you. But the government is trying to get people to buy outside of Lisbon and Porto areas, so that's something to check into as they are currently making changes to the Golden Visa.
Maybe you don't want to buy, but you want to rent. The Quinta da Marina area is also great for renting if you're looking for a lot of space. You'll want a car though. Expect to pay 2,000 to 3,000 euros a month for a T2 with space and amenities.
The housing prices for both buying and renting do drop a little bit from there when you leave this district, but not by much. Because this area is so beautiful and in high demand, you'll be paying for it. It's hard to find a steal here anymore. If you do, it probably needs massive renovations, but there are so many newer buildings and renovated spaces already. Housing is pricey here. Now that we've told you guys about the housing costs, let's check out some of the food costs. We're gonna walk to the market right now. It's midday on a Monday. We're gonna see what types of things you can buy in terms of fruits and vegetables and what food stalls there are. Let's go check it out. All right guys, so this is a bit of real life. This caught us off guard. I was here a couple of days ago and absolutely everything was open. We're gonna show you some shots inside, but here's what the schedule looks like. So on different days, they have different things going on. So not every day you're gonna be able to come here all day and get your meat, your fish, your fruit and veg. So we're gonna go inside today. Those things aren't available right now, but we are gonna grab some food. Join me.
There are a lot of options here, which is nice because you can get a variety of different types of foods at the restaurants. We chose a place called Local, which is healthy food. Josh and I had poke, Amy had a butternut squash lasagna, and G had some sort of mashup of potatoes and chickpeas and avocado spread, and then all of it was really, really good. Oh, Sia also had salmon and pasta that she's working on. This is the kids' portion, which is pretty crazy because it's quite big, but she's really liking it. But anyway, lots of variety here, really cool to grab a bite. Overall, Cascais tends to be more expensive than Lisbon. This goes for housing and day-to-day life. Like we said before, you'll probably want a car here, so factor that cost in. Mercado da Vila has cheap finds for food, but it's not uncommon to spend at least 10 euros for an inexpensive meal. Groceries are fairly comparable compared to other parts of Portugal, especially if you stick to the main grocery stores like Pingo Doce, Continent, or Lidl. It's quite easy to spend a lot on eating and drinking out though, as there are loads of options.
For those of you with kids, there are a few international schools in Cascais, and you're not too far from those that are in the Lisbon area. Prices will depend on the age of your child, but around 12,000 euros a year is the norm. There are Montessori and private schools also available as well, which are a little cheaper than international schools. Again, age determines the tuition fees, but a Montessori school will be closer to 65 to 8,500 euros per year.
So once you factor in the high housing, a car, food in and out, possibly schooling for your kids, and all of the amazing things to do outdoors that will suck your money, you can expect to be paying a lot in Cascais, especially as it's known to be one of the most expensive areas in all of Portugal. It's beautiful though and has a large expat community. You can have an amazing lifestyle here, but you'll want to have a higher budget for it. So if that's not for you, then we would recommend somewhere else in Portugal.
To give you guys a little backstory on us before we give you our opinions on Cascais, it's an awesome place, but we need to let you know who we are. Josh and Kalie, we are two expats who have been all over the world. We've been to 80 different countries, lived in 5 different places. We have a little girl, as you've seen in the video. She's 18 months right now, and we also have a little dog. I'm in my late 30s, Kalie's in her mid 30s, so that will give you kind of a frame of reference on what we're looking for in a place. What do you think of Cascais?
Right, so that definitely is a good point because when we look at places now, we have to take into consideration that we have a child. I think Cascais is beautiful. I would definitely live here, but you have to think of a few things. It's very touristy. So if you're down in the center area, expect loads of tourists. There's a lot of English spoken, so if you want to kind of get away from that and you want to have more of the Portuguese culture, then Cascais might not be for you. But you could get a little outside of that and still have that posh feel, I guess you could say. It's just comfortable here, and I think that it would be really nice. The weather's great, the views are pretty. I don't know, I like it here. I like the vibe. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely like it too. I think that it does have a resorty feel, but it has a Portugal resorty feel, whereas down in the Algarve, that has a very expat resorty feel.
That's true.
It feels very international down in the Algarve, where they're appealing to that crowd. And I actually like that Cascais. Here you have a feel of, it's Portugal still. Now, I do agree with Kalie, it's a little difficult to practice your Portuguese here at times because people will just automatically switch to English to make you feel at home, make a sale, whatever it is. But it's awesome. The weather is stunning, and looking at the calendar of what the weather looks like all year round, it seems idyllic. It could be a place that we live at times when Porto gets a bit cold.
That's true. I don't know about living here for a whole year, like long term. That could be a little difficult because I think you can get into the kind of lifestyle that feels more like in the United States, a bit more like that home feel, and we kind of like living in the country that we're living in. So I don't know if we'd be here super long term, but it's in a really good location. It's not too far from Lisbon. It's not super connected from Lisbon, but it's not too far. We might need a car, which could be an issue. So there's all these kind of things to consider, but overall, I think it's a great place to live.
All right, so the question is, would you expat that?
Yes, I think without hesitation, I would expat Cascais. And you?
I would expat Cascais. There are no caveats to this. I would just do it. I could be here for a while, and it would be awesome.
Yep, true.
All right, so if you guys want to check out more locations that we talk about here in Portugal and know if we would expat that, click on this playlist right over Kalie's head. Now let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye.